All right, guys, it is a continuation of the African Customized Virtual Blade Show. I've got a special treat for you today. Some of you have already kind of lined up in queue because you knew what this was going to bring. We made some posts on Instagram and Facebook and made sure that you guys knew it ahead of time on YouTube. But we have a friend who has been, we've known about him a good while. We've known about him since we started the business because he comes to the United States, does a few shows. But this is the first time that we've actually received any of his knives to sell on the website. We've seen him at the Guild Show. But let me go ahead and introduce you to him and we'll get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Mr. Bertie Rietveld. How are you, Mr. Bertie?
I'm very well, thank you. Hi there.
Good. It's evening time in South Africa right now. I'm not making you miss any dinner or anything like that, am I?
No. I eat early.
Well, good. Well, some of our customers are familiar with you, but give us a little history, a little big background about how you got into knife making. And while you do that, I'm going to open up this one this big cylinder that I just got in yesterday. It says, open this in. So I'm going to be opening this up as you talk, but give us a little bit of background about what you do, and then we can talk about some knives. How you got started. That's what a little bit of background about how you got started.
Well, I made my first knife in 1979, which was basically the last year of school for me. The reason why I started making knives is because I went to there was this movement at school. Everybody was carrying knives. I don't think that can happen today, but back then, everybody was sort of, there were these different trends at school, like yo-yos and dingbats and all this type of stuff. And then all of a sudden, everybody had knives. So I wanted to have a knife. So I went to a very good knife shop in Johannesburg, and what I could find there was like real rubbish. The only stuff I could afford was really no good knives. And then I saw some handmade knives, and I thought, wow, I could make my own. And
right.
That's how my first knife happened.
And this was 1979.
That's how my 79, yeah. So what's that? 41 years now. Knives. I've been to probably about 70 knife shows overseas. So I've done the block.
Yeah, you have. It sounds like it. Now, you said you did 70 knife shows. Now, that's all over the world. That's not just in America.
Yeah, but most of them were in the States, though. I've been a member of. Well, I'm not anymore because the show's has gone down quite a lot. But the Italian Guild Show, I was a member there for 18 years. So I went to Italy for 18 years. I've been to Paris probably 2 or 3 times. But the rest of the time, if you take probably 20 knife shows in Europe and the rest all in the States, so probably 50 plus shows that I've done.
Yeah. So and I know that we have a big following. I actually saw the Paris show commented on one of our posts and just said that, hey, looking forward to seeing the interview. But also I think you've been to Germany and a few different places. So, so it's been, you have a good, you've been around for a little bit.
No, I have for sure. I've done various overseas shows. Yeah, I have 41 years. I've been making knives. I've predominantly been concentrating. The last probably 30 years, I've been predominantly concentrating on art knives. Or high art knives. I make very fancy daggers, very expensive daggers and stuff like that. But
right.
During this this COVID lockup period that we had, I had a friend call me up and. I sort of branched out a little bit into sort of like more EDC type stuff,
Right. Now I haven't seen that's the thing that that I noticed recently, because we've, when we launched the website and we spoke to you at the Guild Show, I noticed that a lot of times you would only have two, three, four, five knives, maybe on the table, you would really focus in. And if you want to, it's for some of our customers, if you really want to see some high quality work and high quality craftsmanship, you should go check out his Instagram, because whoever's taking pictures for you did an excellent job as far as just like getting the details. But what I've noticed whenever I saw them in hand, you can't compare to pictures. I mean, some of the little details that you have on your knives, you can't even tell until you get them in hand.
Yeah, well, um, I spend a lot of time designing and making, my high end pieces. In fact, I've been trying to get into the AKI now for about 15 years,
Right?
and that happened at the end of last year. So I'll be exhibiting at the AKI in 2021. That's quite a milestone for me.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that I know about what you do is that it's just very very detailed, and you're very particular about the way that you, at least from my perspective, you're very particular about what comes across and what goes to the customers. I noticed. Tell me about this one thing that you do that I don't know that you do it on every knife, but maybe you do it on just some of your higher end knives. But there's this thing that you put inside of your blade where you could put it up to your eye, and it looks like it's magnifying. There's like a little I don't even know how to explain it. It's a little thing you look through, and you can see your logo, I guess, through this little glass. Can you explain about that a little
Yeah,
bit?
it's yeah, for sure. I'll tell you how that came about. I started making Damascus in 1990, and I found that it's really defacing the knife if you're going to be putting your name on the blade. So
Right.
I had this very good German collector that I spent quite a bit of time with. He was quite an interesting fellow. He's passed away sadly, but he showed me in the middle of a pair of scissors, in the pivot, there was a tiny little glass lens, if you like. And I
Right.
was looking through this thing, and I saw the city of Bern in Switzerland pictured inside of this little piece of glass. You look through it and it magnifies it, and you see the city. So I
Right.
thought, wow, that would be a good idea. And so I spent 2 years developing the system to do that. I had to have my logo micro photographed very very small, and I developed. I had to learn how to do all the glass grinding and stuff that goes with it. But it turned out to be quite a winner for me, because it's a very um, subdued way of putting your name on a knife. If people don't know about it, they won't even know that there's a name. So you hold
Right.
this little piece of glass up to it's about a quarter of an inch in diameter. You hold that up to your eye, and you look in the little dome section, and magically my logo appears. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that was one of the coolest things. Whenever you explained that to me at the Guild show a few years ago, I was like, it kind of just blown away. I'm like, how did you do that? Because I had never seen I never even heard you explain the thing that you said. It was in Europe, and you saw through the glass, you could see the cities and stuff. But I know what you're talking about now because I've experienced it since then, and I just think it's a unique thing. I don't know anybody else who's doing that sort of thing, and I think your explanation about how the Damascus, I know, guys use Damascus all the time, and what they end up doing is scratching the Damascus on the outside of the blade, or putting it on the edge of the knife, which is not really not necessarily the place that they've always put their logo or trademark, and it does kind of deface the blade or
Yeah.
the etching on it.
Well, I did that because I thought to myself, it's really on a high end knife, you really don't want to be doing that. So
Right.
what I've done is I developed this system, and it works very, very well. It's a lot of work to make it though, because you have to grind the glass and you have to assemble the lens and stuff. It's a lot of work. I probably spend more time making one of those lenses than some people spend making an entire knife.
For sure. I bet it's, but it's definitely something that has to be experienced in hand to really to understand it. I encourage. That's, you know, we're not having the Blade Show this year. One of the reasons why we're having this conversation, we're not able to hang out and be at the Blade Show together and see new things and see some of the things that you're developing. I'm gonna get to the knives. I finally got it all unpacked. I have it all right here. But one of the things I wanted to talk about before we get to the knives that you sent to us was. You were talking about Damascus, and one of the things that you're really known for, even in the United States. I mean, we have guys in the United States. I think I lost you right there. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, well, if you can hear,
but I can't see my.
Well, if you could still hear me, I'll keep talking. And if and when you stop responding, we'll know. But yes, if I think it's the video camera that's working. But some of the I'll tell you what, if you want to maybe back, it's okay. I mean, as long as we can hear you, I was going to say maybe if you want to back out of it and so we can see you, but if we can hear you, it's no problem. If you're online and you're watching this right now, I see we have a number of viewers right now. If you can see, or if you're having trouble hearing Bertie, just let us know in the comment section if you can't hear. I know you probably can't see him, but okay. So the question is this: Damascus. You're known for your Damascus. We have guys in the United States buying Damascus from you, and you're really known for what's called the Dragon Scale Damascus and the Nebula Damascus. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. I've developed that stuff in about 2000. I think I started with dragon skin, and I was working with all kinds of different patterns at the time. We had a little group, and we came together once every 2 months, and then we would sort of brainstorm different patterns and stuff. So I was really sort of on the forefront of a fairly bunch of new patterns, so and then I saw this pattern has got a lot of potential, so I started developing it, and since then I must admit I have done a huge amount of development. You end up with doing probably 5 or 6 times that the process has changed dramatically, to get better results and stuff like that, because there are certain things that's not easy to sort of iron out, problems that you come across when you're making that sort of material. But I think I've got a fairly successful situation at the moment. The material that I make is pretty good. So I'm happy about it. I've sell it to everybody all over the world. I mean, it's quite a famous steel at the moment.
It's a beautiful steel too. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen it. In fact, I'll try to make some post with the finished product of it the way it does. But you can blue it, and it comes out in these beautiful. Sometimes they're like green and oranges and yellows, and sometimes they're like purples and blues and pinks. I guess there's a different type of process that's used to get different colors.
Yeah, I've developed a system of chemically coloring it. It's a similar system to gun bluing, but this material has got a real affinity for colors. And if you get it down, there's a bit of a sort of a learning curve to it. If someone starts to use it for the first time, they have to sort of get their head around how it works and stuff. But once they've I mean, I've had guys that that colored the stuff more beautifully than I can.
Right.
So
yeah.
it's it's a system. It's similar to there's a few ways to get colors out of the stuff. But mostly it's my recipe that the guys use. And they get pretty neat colors. Yeah, you can get greens and purples and all kinds of other neat colors.
Well, let's do this. Somebody responded and said that your volume is really low and we can't hear you, and also we can't see you. What if we do this, Bertie? I'm going to, if you would you reset your side of it? I'll take over for just a second, and then if you can reset, click that link again and reset it back in here. I'll add you to the stream, and let's see if we can get video and maybe your volume a little. Maybe it'll reset the volume as well. And then and while you're doing that, while you're resetting, I'll kind of go through what I'm doing on this end, and we'll see if we can maybe make this stream a little bit better. Can we do that?
I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
Perfect. Let's go through that. All right. So Bertie is going to reset right now, but I have a real treat. And so you guys are watching this. Sorry, we're trying to fix the volume. We'll try. That's one of the things that happens when you're dealing with. I actually put these earbuds in because I couldn't. His volume was low on my end, so we're going to try to fix that. But that's what happens when you're halfway across the world, trying to connect to good Wi-Fi and stream. So anyway, that's where we're looking at. But let me add this to you. Let me go to this right here. I have a few knives. And until Bertie comes on, I'll kind of go through. Now, one of the things that we'll talk about is he started making some more user knives. So these are knives. What we were just talking about was more of his high-end stuff, his custom stuff. Let me zoom in just a little bit. Yeah, more of his high-end, his custom stuff that basically I'm going to be honest, sometimes most of our customers will not be able to afford the stuff that he does. But I'm talking like multiple times. Let me see if I can pull him in right here. Bertie, can you hear us now?
There we go.
Perfect.
Yes,
Now
that's right. I can hear you now. Yes. Cool.
Great. All right. So there you go. All right. So I was just getting to the point where it's saying these are actually some knives, and let me put it to a different screen. These are actually some knives that I have right here that you kind of referenced a little bit earlier about you started. The COVID happened, and I guess you decided you had a little inspiration or something, and then you started making some more user knives. So tell me a little bit about the background. I have the fixed blades and I have a few folders right here, but let's talk about these fixed blades first.
Okay, yeah, they're called snipers. I actually have a friend who's into sort of like self-defense type of stuff. They do classes, and they've got a couple of instructors that teach them self-defense. And he was looking for a knife that he could carry with him. And he had a very specific sort of idea what he wanted. So I developed the sniper for him, and it's got a Kydex sheath. It's a quick draw system. You could actually put the little belt clip in about 8 different positions, left hand, right hand, any way you like. And I've actually been carrying one for the last 3 months, and it's a very handy little knife to have with you as well as a weapon. Yeah, so we manufactured these guys now. This is part of one of the lines that I'm making.
Okay, so one of the things that I noticed about it, yes, you can adjust the Kydex sheath, which is very useful. I've actually never seen you use a Kydex sheath, but it makes sense now that you give the kind of background story on it. So it's got a little clip right here that's made out of the Kydex. Did you make these sheaths?
I did, yeah. That was a bit of a learning curve because I never worked with Kydex before. You're quite right. So I got some Kydex, and I started watching YouTube.
Well, and that's how we all get started, doing something like creative, especially when we're stuck in our shops, right, waiting for the COVID to end. But one of the things I noticed, it's great feel in hand. As I pull, this is the first time I've experienced it, so pulling one out, great feel in hand. You know what I like is the texture. Can you explain a little bit about how you the texture that you have on this, the handle?
Yeah, it's like a yes, it's like a knurling type of effect that I did on my milling machine. It's I suppose they would call it sort of a diamond pattern, and it's a very positive grip. The one of the conditions that my friend wanted was, he said that the minute that your hand gets wet or with blood or water or whatever, then the knife could slip from your hand quite easily. So I've decided I'll do this like little knurling effect, which gives quite a good grip, wet or dry.
Yeah. One of the things that I noticed about it is that it's very similar to like a gun stock, like the checkering that you would get on a gun stock, except this is inside of the, I guess this is G10 or micarta that you have it right here, but it feels like the raised dimples up on a gun stock sometimes.
Yeah, it's exactly the same sort of system. Yes.
Perfect. And I also noticed that you don't have the glass Bertie Rietveld, but you do have a special logo right here where you put your name, and then I guess this is the number of which one it is, right?
Yes, on the back of the knife, I engraved my name, and the ones you've got, I actually made 15 of these knives, and I think you've got number 1 to 7, so you have a number 1 actually.
Whoa.
And they all numbered. Yeah, 1 to 7 is the ones that you've got, so that's good.
Well, I appreciate it. We actually contacted you and said, hey, look, we know that the guild show's canceled, Blade show's canceled. I know that what can we do to help? And we asked a few different makers, and one of the things we came up with is just being able to just get the word out about that these knives are available. So not only can you get some here if you want it direct in the States, you can get it here, but they can also contact you. What's a better way to contact you? Through your website or your social media?
Well, I'm active on all sort of medias. Website is good. Email's probably the best way for me to, Instagram's fine, Messenger, Facebook Messenger's fine as well.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they'll probably be talking to your wife because she's pretty good at that.
Yeah, she's my sort of media supervisor, manager,
Well,
if you like.
Well, and she does a great job. And if you guys don't know, she also has been working with the Guild Show for I don't know how many years now. How many years has she been helping with the Guild and South Africa?
Ever since she's been involved with me, which was it's been probably 29 years now. She's been busy with the Guild Show in South Africa in some or other capacity. I think she organized it for something like about 5 or 6 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Yeah, so she's quite involved with my knife making. Yeah.
Well, maybe you can give us a little heads up. I mean, at first they moved the Guild? Didn't they move it back, or were they trying to reschedule it at some point?
Yeah, I think the Guild Show was supposed to be in August, quite early in August, something like
Right.
that. And then they moved it to November, and I think they've now completely cancelled it, which is a pity, but the times we live in.
Well, I know that there are still ways that our customers or people who watch this on YouTube later might be able to get in touch with you, and so make sure that you contact him through the website or through social media or email. Either way, you're going to still have knives available. Is that correct?
Oh yes, yeah, no, for sure. Yes,
Now,
I'm actually busy with the next 15
of these.
Oh, yeah.
You're busy with the next 15 of these. Awesome. Well, these are the first 15. We're looking forward to getting them up. I'll try to get some pictures up and have them up today or tomorrow. I guess the next question I have for you is more or less, how would, if someone wanted, if they go and look at some of the stuff that you've done in the past, which is just mind-blowing, beautiful stuff, how do you take specific custom orders, or do you just, so I know some makers just make and create, and then customers come based on when they see the epiphany of the beautifulness. Or do you take custom orders? That was my question.
Okay, Nathan, let me tell you. In the past, I really only did what I wanted to. Oh, some bikes. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes,
Some bikes
in the past, what I've done is, I didn't really take orders. I really made what I wanted to. But, the problem that I have is that with all the shows cancelled now, I've got quite a bit of time on my hands. So I do actually do the odd custom order at the moment. Yeah.
Well, and that's great. That's good to know. I mean, I know that some of the makers, some of the customers, and some of the knife collectors, want to know that sort of thing. All right, I'm gonna go if it's okay with you. Do you have anything else to say about the sniper? I mean, these look fantastic. I'm gonna get some more detailed pictures and put them up shortly. But can we move on to the next model? Is that okay?
Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, so these are actually in a little bit nicer presentation case. These are a folder, correct?
Yes, they call the Topolino, which is the Italian for little mouse.
Now, earlier you said that you actually went to the guild show, or you were a member of the guild and went to Italy. I'm assuming that you got some inspiration from Italy for this knife, or is this a knife you've made previously?
Well, I made Topolinos previously, probably about 10 years ago, but they were quite a bit smaller. And I thought to myself, I need to revive it. So I redesigned it and made it a tiny little bit bigger. Um, and I think the size is now better because it used to be quite a small little knife. So these are the first ones actually that I've made, that are now that are a little bit larger than the previous models that were made like about 10 years ago, like I said.
Well, so these, as I'm pulling them out, I do have a scale right here. I'm gonna pull out a scale right here. But as I pull them out, they're not large. They're more of a gentleman's size knife. They're not necessarily a large. I don't know what the other one looked like, but they're a fairly, I would say medium sized knife. I'll give you some dimensions in a second.
Yes, no, for sure. They're not huge. I mean, they're small knives. It's nice to be carried in your pocket, and it's just a little slip joint. There's no locking mechanism as such, but it's got quite a positive, it's quite a positive lockback. I mean, sorry, slip joint.
Now I noticed that there's a knob on the end as I'm pulling them all out. There's a little bit of knob right there. Tell us about how that came about, because that's a little bit different. Just initial reaction.
Well, that's the ball on the end of the nose of the mouse.
Okay, well, yeah. I guess you're looking at it right there. And so you call this the mouse, and also I noticed this is a very European thing. I don't see it as much in America, but the knurls right here that were used to take a slip joint and open it up. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, those are little silver pins that are little dome silver pins in the blade, three of them. So if you want to open the knife, you grab those little pins and you open the blade. It's quite a positive sort of gripping system, if you like,
Yeah, it's a
as
little
well as
bit.
being pretty.
Yeah, it's almost like a gentleman's way of putting a little. Sometimes they'll put a knurl there or something where they call it a thumb nick. It's a lot nicer than a thumb nick.
Yeah, I try, you know, as they said, if everybody walks one way, then Bertie will walk another. So, always look for ways to kind of break the mold, if you like.
Okay, so this is a slip joint. So I do have a little bit of a. I'm just kind of feeling it right now for the first time. Now it's not a heavy walk and talk. Did you do that on purpose?
Yeah, you don't, it's also maybe a knife that a lady would use. So you don't want to have something that's sort of like really, really tight.
Right. I definitely can see the little details. Now, when I look inside the knife, I see where it says Rietveld right inside the knife, right here. But also, it has a little mouse. Did you do that?
Yeah. Yeah, the Topolino,
Yeah.
little mouse. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see it, and some of the other knife makers, for you guys who can't see in the video, some of the knife makers already put it in the backspacer of their knives. You put their name or put stuff in the backspacer, but there's a little bitty mouse. Maybe I can get some detailed pictures, shoot it up to you in just a bit. But it's fantastic. It's just very, very smooth. It's a gentle knife, gentleman's knife. Yeah.
There we go. Now I think you've got it down.
All right, so Bertie, we seem to have lost some video again, and that's okay. We're kind of coming down to the end of it right here, but let us know what may be coming up in the future. What's happening right now that that maybe we need to just kind of be aware of coming on from your end.
Well, well, Nathan, I'm busy at the moment. I'm busy planning and designing for the AKI. That's the end of October next year. So, and that's a big show. So I've got to be busy getting some stuff ready for that. Yeah, some of my bigger pieces are being designed right now. In anticipation of that show. I'm also busy doing quite a bit of upgrading to my shop. I've done quite a bit of improving my systems, if you like, because as I mentioned previously, with all the shows being cancelled, I've got a bit of time on my hands, and I never get time to do any maintenance, and so I always wing it along. So now that we've got a bit of time, now I can actually do stuff that I've always wanted and never had time for.
Yes, I understand. I feel the same way here. We were kind of glad that there was a little bit of break so we could make some adjustments and clean stuff up and get stuff in order. So I can understand where you're kind of coming from on that end. Well, I will say this: it was a pleasure chatting with you, Bertie. I hope that we could do it again. I hope that whenever the people get these knives, they see the quality and the detail that you put into it, and we're thankful to be able to represent you well here in the United States.
Excellent. Thank you very much for everything that you guys do for the South African knife makers. I really appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. I hope that we can work on something in 2021, maybe with the Guild Show and promoting that, and looking forward to maybe seeing some more knives coming to us over the next few months. So maybe we can get one of those really nice ones, get you to custom make us one for those. So Bertie, great talking to you. Great chatting with you. We have a few people saying thank you. Somebody says all the best, Bertie, and they're commenting. And so we just want to tell you that we appreciate you making an effort to get on our live stream today. And we'll talk to you real soon.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.